How's it going, everyone?
I hope you had a beautiful Holy Week last week. Um, I was surprised
On
on
Friday and Saturday. Friday, I got to go fishing with a buddy that I haven't seen in at least 3 years, and and his daughter. The last time I saw her, she was maybe like 3 or 4. So seeing her now, tall, and her eyes are more intense. Like they're very, very sharp blue, which caught me off guard because her father, my friend, and her mother both have dark brown eyes. Um, I was like, wait, how did that happen? He's like, oh well, it's on my dad's side. So besides that, we didn't catch anything. That's okay. The waters here in New Jersey are just starting to warm up, so I even saw a couple panfish over underneath these logs I'm sitting over near. But I had a great time. Almost caught a largemouth bass off of a like a standing jig with a green watermelon kind of imitation soft plastic crawfish. But regardless, I still had a great time just hanging out with him talking. Because then after he dropped me off, well, even before then, after we were done fishing, we went to the buffet. Uh, it was beautiful. We said grace. Like, things that haven't happened in my life are happening. And I'm so grateful. Like, well, you guys barely know me, but the excitement and the happiness in my voice, like, the people that are around me, they know. So I'm again eternally grateful. So we went to this buffet, had a lot of food. Very, it's like it was just unusual to be in a setting where, uh, sorry, I had a phone call, but I don't, I didn't recognize the number, so not today, Satan. um, it was just unusual for me to be sitting at a table with someone that wasn't my family, but like they had manners, they had proper table etiquette. It threw me off, but it was so nice. And then after my friend dropped me off, we hit up another friend of mine that I haven't seen. Well, I mean, I saw him when I came back in December, but he's just been MIA since because I come to find out that he hits up the friend that I went fishing with like every other Friday. Meanwhile, I haven't heard a peep out of him. But I knew him longer than the guy I went fishing with. But he did give me some great insight into how I was showing up. Uh, I don't understand it though. So he told me he was afraid or like intimidated to just speak the truth with me, which didn't make any sense because I've like I've known this kid since middle school days. Like when I was 10 through 14, and then he eventually ended up going to the same high school I did because I had moved around because of my dad's passing. But regardless, I've known this kid for going on 20 years. So this is just a reminder of even people that you think you really know on a deep level, they could have a completely different version of you in their head. Now, I mean, I've always been honest with the majority of the people in my life, not to say I haven't lied, because I have, but like I've shared meals with this dude. I've shared drinks with this dude. I've driven him around. I've been going fishing with him. I've been sharing a majority of my life with him. So, for him to tell me, and the only reason that he did tell me is because he was drunk, and he feels, these are his words, not mine, he feels that he's not himself when he's sober, which is unfortunate, but it was a great piece of information for me to find out on a personal level between us. Like, that took a lot for him to actually come out and be vulnerable with me. Because out of 20 years, I never really knew where I stood with this dude. He's always been a good person. I know his heart. But I've never really known how to categorize him in my life because of one situation or another that he put himself in. It's not to say that he went to jail or anything like that. Sorry, just moving stuff around. Where was I going with this? So, now that the Holy Week is over and God gave us that beautiful week of rest, the truth is coming out, justice is being served, and who knows, maybe even love is starting to be reciprocated. I'm happy being single. I was single a majority of my life. Not because I didn't want to. I still dated. I still had so many important life lessons on where I stood personally. And you could call it intuition. You can call it following your heart. You can call it common sense. But I believe that God has been with me every step of the way. I've been lost a majority of my life. Never knew where I fit in, what kind of work I wanted to do. Because I've wanted to do a bit of everything. And it's been fun. It really has been. I never stayed in a company more than 2 years. Mostly by choice. The one situation where I was let go earlier than I wanted to be was largely due to, I would say, wrongful termination, but I walked away on just as the best terms as I could. I didn't. I completely fucking blew up on them. The one and only place that I ever really blew up on a company. And that was because, like, they said I was smoking weed on break with someone, but they had no visual proof. They had no audio proof. Even when I told them right then and there, because I wasn't stoned, test me right now. Go into the office, make a little slip that says that I need to be drug tested. I'll go do it. They say, oh, no, just go home for the rest of the day. We'll sort this out. Come into work the next day. Matt, what are you doing here? They told us that you were fired yesterday. I'm like, oh, that's big news to me because they didn't fucking tell me that 1 cent. So I started throwing all the paperwork that I had in my hand from picking it up at my desk. Just tossed it all over the warehouse. Walked out, cussing and just shouting. Because that wasn't the first instance where this company had tried to make it seem like I was the problem. Maybe like the first month or two of working with them, they tried to get me to sign a pink slip saying that I messed up an order, even though the largely Spanish workforce that didn't know how to read English and were mostly going by numbers and letters that they were matching up paper to paper. I have nothing against them because they weren't properly taught how to work in that kind of a situation. there were also Spanish workers that knew exactly what they were doing because they had been third or fourth generation. So I had no problems with them. They helped me learn Spanish and interact with the other people that I needed to in order for things like this to not happen. And the managers and higher ups also do this. I wasn't involved in that order in any sense other than checking to make sure that everyone's personal ID numbers were where they were supposed to be, and I was taking the inventory out of a specific slot. That company is no longer in the building where it once was. As far as I know, it's not even operating anymore, at least in my state. I know that one of their other locations is in Texas, so maybe they just jumped ship, but who knows? I never exacted revenge on this company or anything because there was no need. That's how I've always shown up in relationships with other people. Now, I may have shouted, I may have cursed and threw all the ammunition they gave me over the years back at them to be that mirror of what they need to grow and learn from. But I never retaliated. There was never a need for it. And majority of the time, it wasn't hard just to walk away from a situation. People show you who they are. Now, whether you choose to acknowledge that or not, that's on you. If someone's doing the same thing, showing up the same way time and time again, and you don't like it, that's on you. This is largely due to, at least the experience I'm trying to tie this in with. So even just scrolling through Reddit, there are so many people seeking relationship advice, and a majority of them, they are blatantly obvious. Why are you in this relationship to begin with? Get out of it. 8,000 comments, all saying the same thing. Most of the time, those people will listen. Other times, people are so deep-seated in their own thought, in their own sins, in their own regret, their own shame, they don't know how to function. I've been dealing with things like that of the mental variety for going on 2 decades bare minimum. The fact that I'm still here shows how much resilience and strength that God has blessed me with. Because even in my most darkest moments where I've had loved ones betray me time and time again, or treat me a certain way after a situation where it had little to nothing to do with me, and even when I spoke up and said my truth, they still threw hate. They chose to act like that. I walked away. Because no one deserves to be treated like they're trash. No one deserves to be treated like they're not deserving of genuine love, growth, intelligence, wisdom, authenticity, structure, being compassionate and strict at the same time. Learning to know how to balance the two. Learning how to balance yourself. My children's mother threw me completely off balance, and I still don't understand why I had to go through the lessons that I had to with her. And the only thing I keep running back to is that I really didn't love myself from the beginning of our relationship, because she told me who she was basically the first week of us getting to know one another. But I still saw so much potential in her because she had her own personal strengths. But she hid it. She hid it below a very, very good mask. A lot of people in her family just pushed her away because they saw it. A lot of people never gave me the explanation or a warning. Her grandmother warned her to treat our relationship with a bit more grace and understanding. And this was before I moved out and experienced what a lot of tarot readers call a Ten of Swords, the ultimate betrayal. I'm not going to go into why it is, because that will unfold in time. But until then, the only thing I can and know how to do is take care of myself, enjoy my alone time, and just learn how to be a human. Learn how to be a better person, a better man, a better father, someone that wants to own a business, who knows that his leadership skills are top-notch. Let's get it straight. I've had to expend my energy in so many other different areas of my life that I didn't understand how I was expending that energy. And it took several tolls on me. Mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. And it wasn't until I finally got out of the apartment where I was living, moved back in with my mom, as much as I didn't want to, I did not want to end up homeless in Washington during fucking winter. Especially where the homeless situation out there is, like, Lord have mercy for all the people out there. Just because I was living out there for 3 years and I saw everyone. I saw the rich of the richest, and the poorest of the poor, the mentally destroyed, physically, spiritually, mentally, financially. People that aren't even given the slightest crumb of a chance to turn their life around. But they still get up every day and do their absolute damnedest to survive and better their situation. Not everyone has the grace to do that. And I am eternally grateful that I had this opportunity to turn my life around. Because I gave someone so much love that it destroyed me. And when I needed the people that I thought loved me the most in my life, they left me in silence, or they just wanted to throw hate back towards me, even though I did nothing to betray them, in such a grandeur sense, where it's just completely over the top, because people have these projections of you. You are what they imagine you to be. They could base you off your father's actions, your mother's actions, a combination of the two. Very rarely will you come across someone that takes accountability and responsibility for themselves. I fully accept all the responsibility that I had in my relationships. I've always tried to move with genuine love and authenticity of self. I stood up to people time and time again just to be met with silence, conflict, or just nothing. No goodbye, no, hey, why I'm leaving your life. None of that. God removes people from our lives for a certain reason. Either you've already learned a lesson, or they were not meant to, because of things they were planning behind closed doors. Things they were thinking about that were probably so destructive that God had to get you out of that situation. And I hope and pray that everyone that is on my channel, no matter what creed, race, color of your skin, no matter what language you speak, 'cause I hope I can learn more languages or at least find someone to subtitle these videos at some point. We're all humans having a human experience. Our spirits are eternal as long as we give them over to God, as long as we move through life by the 10 Commandments, as long as we move through life with love and not deception, hate, lies, or destruction. And it's so easy just to say, "You look nice today," without it being weird. Some people will have those projections. That's not your burden to carry. I love you all. And I'm so grateful for the weekend that I had. I'm grateful for every day that I can wake up and continue to push forward and make my life better. I'm so grateful that I have this platform to be able to speak my mind, to help. If I even help one of you guys, or even any random person that comes across this video, through my experiences, through my wisdom, that brings me so much personal joy. Because I would never wish what I went through in my life on someone else. It really has not been easy. And there was still one of my family members that chose to compare me to someone else that went through a similar situation. I don't know what his life was like, but he eventually became a very high-ranking politician in her area of New Jersey. So she'd been comparing me to someone I have no clue who he is or what his views are for God knows how long, instead of actually getting to know me. That was a heavy bombshell. And then for her to say on top of that, that she wished basically the most illest thing that you could wish on someone. Mental struggles, financial struggles. Oh, you're just going to end up living your entire life on welfare, not knowing how hard I've already been working through my life before I was even allowed the chance to get some crumb of my father's inheritance that he left behind for me. And you know what I did with the majority of it? Nothing. No one taught me how to invest. No one taught me how to save. No one told me how not to fucking tell anyone about it, whether you want to help them or not. Because then people will always be watching you, putting you up on this huge pedestal in their head. I got lightsabers here and there, things that brought me closer to that childlike wonder where I loved collecting things. No matter if it was toads in the forest, cars, Bionicles, Lego train sets and whatnot that I could build and just imagine with. Whether that was seashells, rocks, different kinds of leaves. I love nature in every sense. People are nature. And the most beautiful thing about people is how creative we are. Artwork in so many different forms. There's some forms of art where it's like, I can't really look at it and appreciate it because I don't see it as art. But that's not my kind of art, and that's okay. I'm sure it would bring someone to tears, like someone of a different caliber, and that's okay. The important thing of this year, the whole theme, is that we're closing out how we used to work with one another in relationships, in business, in the political sense. We're trying to make huge change in our own personal lives that we can help other people elevate, that we can help bring some joy and stability to others. I want to get rich so I can help like the growing homeless population find work and homes that they need so they can come home, not be out on the streets, not have to deal with the craziest of weather conditions. We all have the resources too. It's completely possible. That's what capitalism is. Sure, there's going to be a lot of people doing the same thing. But the main reason you're doing it is because it brings you personal fulfillment, brings you personal joy. Whether you realize it or not, it's bringing you closer to God. Especially if we dial it back a little bit, especially if you're moving through life with love, with authenticity, with compassion. You don't have to go above and beyond to the extent that you're trying to create a whole new political system to help those in dire need. It could be just as simple as maybe once a month donating a bunch of extra clothes that you don't wear, whether it's dropping off 1 to 3 food items that are semi non-perishable and easy for people to eat on the go so they can eat that day. Going back to the friend that I've known for the past 20 years, he intentionally wanted to be homeless because a friend of his was homeless. And that was a whole different mess of a situation for him, and God bless him because he's still living and still pushing forward. But I chose not to have him in my life for various other reasons. And those weren't projections, those were personal boundaries that I had set for myself and did not want to go back to, because he was not the same person at the time that he more than likely is now. But personally, I don't care to reunite, if that makes sense. People come into our life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And it's up to you to realize the signs that are coming at you. It's up to you to realize the behaviors that people are showing you. Patterns exist for a reason, because they happen time and time again. Let's not repeat history. Let's keep choosing love. Let's keep choosing expansion and personal growth. Let's keep expanding on compassion. People that want to help are being called to help. You have it in you. We need more light workers than ever. We need more healers, more dancers, more artists. We need more community members that help bring people together in love. But it's up to us to be discerning on who those people are, especially when they keep showing you those patterns. There's a lot going on in my personal life right now, and that's why I haven't been posting. But I'm going to keep following the call in my spirit for when I have a message, for when I don't, because I do have a couple channeled messages at home, but I haven't felt called to release them yet. I've been going through more healing and more shadow work with myself, trying to understand my thought patterns, how to break them, how to remain stable, even when, because now, even now, I am still going through trials with other people. Trials that I really thought it would not get to this point. Trials of, yeah, they're not going to change. There's nothing I can do about it. So I go to God. Sometimes I'll even just sit here in the woods, talk to God, honor the four elements, the sun, the moon, the stars. I don't really come in here at night because there's supposedly a bear around. And I give it all to God. I ask Him to take away all of my bitterness, all of my resentment, all of my anger and sorrow, but that I am still grateful for all the lessons I've learned, because I'm eternally grateful to have lessons to learn. 20 years of knowledge and experience talking and seeing people as their authentic self, even when they show themselves in a different light again and again. It's always been about making mental notes about people. They've shown me who they are. I know who I can trust. I know who deserve a chance. And bless my friend's heart for finally coming out to me. Not in a LGBTQA plus sense, but finally being vulnerable enough to speak truth with me on a heart-to-heart level, because that is so incredibly rare. And then I was blessed with it on Saturday, where I was getting ready to just relax because my feet were hurting just from my work week and being on my feet a whole bunch. But then my friend out of nowhere, different friend that I haven't talked to for 3 years, who warned me about the relationship with my baby mama, I chose not to follow his advice. I chose not to follow his wisdom. And when the breakup came, I went to him and I said, I'm sorry. I hope you're not mad at me for not listening to you and for disregarding your wisdom. He surprised me with a ticket to the Buckethead concert at the Stone Pony, a little venue that I've been hearing about in high school, all throughout even after. And I finally got my opportunity to go and see an artist I wished I could have seen years ago. And I'm so grateful that that friend had reached out to me, and that he said he never held any ill will towards me to begin with. He felt sorry for me that I put myself through that situation, because he felt like he could have helped me. I've felt like that as well with my baby mama's brother. You could feel the pain from his soul in the next room. And at the time, I couldn't give him the help I know he deserved, because he was reaching out on a soul level, asking for help, grace, and guidance the way I've been asking God the past 2 years. I don't know how it affected my baby mama. She doesn't typically talk about her feelings on that sense because she never went through such a close related incident like that. But we all have to learn to let things go without bitterness, without resentment, but with forgiveness and love. As cliche as it sounds, and I really don't like hearing the phrase myself, it's the ones who we are closest to that hurt us the most. And it's such a fucking cliche, but it's true. Not a lot of people know the kind of pain that I'm talking about. They probably never will understand it. But I know there are people out in this world that have experienced very soul-rending, soul-crippling experiences that literally all you have are your thoughts. And it's a battle every day to get out of those thoughts and not do something drastic. In loving memory of Leo.